All right, well, I'm going to get us going. I think I've started the recording. There we go. So welcome to the third week of leadership. It's exciting to have you all here as always. I am excited to see the things that people participate in. I'm always excited to have people on the call. It's nice having your faces. That's helpful for me. I am going to mute you just so that the video can be clear. But I hope that you're enjoying these calls. I don't know about you, but I'm learning a lot in my preparation and then just even processing with people. So, and it's exciting to be using some materials that the director's team is using, this Be a Direct Selling Superstar, and being able to use this in a real tangible way with you all, because I know as I read it, if you saw they originally sent us PDFs of it, you can see like I just have all this writing all over it. I was like, I got to one point, I was like, I might be highlighting every line because it's just been personally useful, and just thinking, I think about people or particular things, trends within our team. I think, oh gosh, this is going to be helpful for the girls too. So I've been excited to read people's goals and just seeing how y'all are giving some shape to that and seeing people kind of move to a more concrete goal, because as we were talking about week one, that's really important. And it has been exciting to see people to start responding to the information about the comp plan. So again, I apologize for the technical issues last week. We had some kind of Zoom catastrophe, but the engineers at Zoom and the customer service lady, Vanessa, were awesome, and just took a few days I don't know how they retrieved things, but they did. And I was grateful for that. So I'm sorry that was a little bit later than originally planned. I kept waiting all day. I was like, why is this video not posting? And then to go back and find the other ones were missing too. So I'm glad I caught it when I did. So today is about building belief and attacking self-sabotage. This is what we're going to be addressing, because this is a big piece. What goes on in here is a big piece of what happens outside of our world, outside of our head world. And so I just want you all to know, I'm going to speak frankly. I'm going to talk honestly today. And I want you to know that it comes from a place of love, and that these things that we're talking about, different pieces and parts of it, I've had to address in my own life, or am addressing in my own life even now. Nobody's immune to this, and everybody has to work continually on building their own personal belief and shutting down the lies. Like, it's just, I personally don't think it's what God intends for us to buy the lie. I think it's part of our personal freedom that we have in believing in who we are, whose we are. But I think that as women, it's really easy for us to get caught up in that and get stuck. And then we get kind of stuck in groups too. We do that like as a collective. Hi, Beth Ann. Glad you're here this morning. So we're talking about building belief today and attacking self-sabotage. Beth Ann, just to kind of catch you up here. So I talked earlier in the series about how in a book I've been reading, it talks about how, and I believe this to be true, direct sales is really a personal growth business, because it takes a lot of you to figure out how it is that you're going to go out and present yourself. Hi, Betsy. Welcome. We're talking about building belief today and attacking self-sabotage. So, and so the reason why I picked that woman putting the O2 mask on herself is, every time you fly, they say, don't start doing this for other people. You have to take care of yourself. You have to get that oxygen in you so that you have the abilities to be able to care for the people around you, or to do the work that you need to do in the midst of that crisis. Well, I think it's a great image for us. You have to fill up your tank with truths before you can really live it, right? Like, you can't You have to take care of yourself. I talk about self-care regularly, because if you don't have anything in here to pour out, you'll have nothing to pour out to others. It's the same goes with belief. We have to pour truth into ourselves, and we have to choose to believe truth and to say no to the lies, so that we can have a mindset where we are then able to help others believe the truth in themselves. You can't be, if you're not inspired, you're not going to inspire, right? And so this is where what we're going to be focusing on today is the things that are obstacles and how to achieve those. And the more you grow in your business, the reality is the more you're going to need these muscles to be strengthened. And especially because there's this temptation to compare. There's this, as you start having more people, you get critique and you get other people's thoughts and opinions. And so when you have a strong sense of self and understanding why you're doing what you're doing and where it is that you're going, then, you can welcome other people's thoughts, but you can also let them go and not get distracted by them. And then you can also, you have that more strength when you are rooted in your belief. You have more strength to say no to those lies and say, get behind me, Satan. That's what I always say. I know people come from different perspectives, but for me, I'm like, let's just shut down the lie. I don't have time for you today. So, and in the, as we've been talking in past weeks, really the heart of this, the core qualities of people who are successful and I wouldn't say just in direct sales, but definitely in direct sales, is people who are working out of a strong commitment to determination, discipline, and drive. These are the characteristics for building belief. And because that's really, and it really has to be a consistent, constant process. This is anything that we just achieve. Just because I hit director, I'm not done. I'm going to be working on this to the day I take my last breath. That's just the reality. People who are successful succeed on purpose. You cannot make hope your business plan. As much as hope is a big piece of what we're about, right? Cultivating hope inside people's lives, including our own. People who are successful succeed on purpose. It's really about choices you make. Choices from what you believe and choices in what you do. So last week I talked about how when you choose a direct sales company, people do that based on the plan, the people, and the product. And these, when you chose to be with Trades of Hope, those were the three things you decided that you were going to commit to. Even if you didn't necessarily get the plan at that time, it is part of the commitment. And it's part of the company's commitment to you to be able to celebrate and to honor the hard work you're doing. So one of the things we do is that we often live our life with these conditional statements, though. We don't live into the plan, into working out the plan, the product, and with the people as successfully as we could, because we get caught up in these conditional commitments. Well, I'll give it my best shot. I'll do it if I can find the right people. I'll do it when the company grows. I'll do it if I have time, or as it works around my kids. We're making these conditional statements all the time, and it's not a way to start a strong business. It would be kind of like, with your kids saying, if I have time, I'm going to love you. If, to your husband, if it works for me this month, I'll work out my commitment that we made. Conditions aren't really, those conditional commitments are not what's life-giving and purposeful. It's not what is going to allow us to reach the kind of success that we want for ourselves and that we say we want for artisans too. So Trades of Hope has given us lots of tools and lots of systems. And I can say when I joined Trades of Hope, there were all the resources that we have available to us today were not there. Like there's so much more rich content available. When Cindy and I started, it was like you just kind of played around in the back office. The Smart Start plan had a few vague numbers, no incentives. Even just so you know, a lot of the people who, like, there was only one director in the company when I joined in March of 15, and that was Jess Argensinger. So a lot has changed, and we today have so many great resources. We have the app, we have the training toolbox, we have our team, we have seasoned leaders above us, we have all the different promotions and things. Like Trades of Hope has a lot more of those kinds of things today to help us be successful. They have lots of tools and systems. And what we need to do is to ask ourselves, what are we working on our conditions, or are we willing to work with the system that's been presented to us that's really designed to help us? That's the heart of what the founders and the home team are working on every single day, is how is it we can help you? I mean, you've heard that when you've called customer service. If you talk to Kaylee and you're hanging up with her, Kaylee always says, is there anything else I can do to help you today, Shelby? Like that is really the heart of who Trades of Hope is from our home team perspective. And the founders, they are always thinking, how can we make our CEs stronger, better equipped, able to celebrate great successes in partnership with artisans? So I have to, one of the things I've talked about with Holly in particular, I say, I'm committed to Trades of Hope, and I have been from the beginning. Initially more for mission, but I came to understand over time that my mission couldn't have as big of an impact if I wasn't committed to the business, if I wasn't doing this regularly. Because at first I was just going to do this on the side. But then I started hearing stories about, as we work, how Shelly can hire more women in Haiti, or girls are supported in Guatemala or in India. So I say it all the time, I'm committed to Trades of Hope, even if I'm not sure about everything. Even as new things come down the pike, I have chosen to trust that I understand the heart of the founders and the leaders. And so I'm going to choose to work out of that commitment. I'm going to choose to work out of that trust. And one of the things we need to work on is building off our commitment that we made when we joined. And like I said, trusting this process, because the systems now that we have are very straightforward. There's three, if you want to know how to be successful. And I literally had people at Inspire and Empower stop me and say, Shelby, what's the magic bullet? What are the three things that you're doing? How are you so successful? And I always say my success, I think, really is, I said, well, first of all, I'm doing the same thing the CE that I brought onto my team last week is doing. I'm selling, I'm partying, I'm sponsoring. Like there really is nothing. And the other thing is, I always say that I am telling stories and I'm encouraging people. Like that's really, I think, at the heart of it. I'm telling stories at my sponsoring. I'm telling stories at my partying. I'm telling stories when someone's picking the Pure Love bracelet up off my vendor's table, right? And then I'm trying in those moments to be encouraging to anyone and everyone I'm encountering. So the system is very straightforward in terms of achieving success in Trades of Hope for ourselves and artisans: sell, party, sponsor. The keys to that success is about us, and if we're going to act on them, if we're going to actually do the things, the systems, and the process. There's a quote I want to read to you here. It says that our power comes from within. You can refuse to let forces outside your control determine your destiny. You can refuse to be swayed by stories of doom and gloom, and you can refuse to give up on your dreams, no matter what's happening with the economy or what challenges you're facing personally. While most people wait for something to happen, you can make things happen. While others wait for things to get better, you can make yourself better. You'll make mistakes, and if you don't, you're probably not trying hard enough. You'll face challenges, and if you don't, you're probably playing in the sandbox. Growing a business takes determination, discipline, and drive. It doesn't matter how many mistakes you make or missteps you take. If you commit to your goal, you will find a way to reach it. And I will say those words are like gospel truth for me. Like, that is the experience I had. I chose at a certain point with my business to say, I want to have a bigger impact in, around, and through this business. And so I'm going to do what I have to do to be able to reach that. And it was nobody making that. Nobody can do my business for me, right? I had to take control, and I had to release the conditional commitments. I had to release saying when I have time or if I have time. Instead, I have to say, even if I have 15 minutes today, I'm going to use that time to the best possible. And there have literally been many days in the last 2.5 years where that's what I had, is 15 minutes. So I have to say that if I can do it, I think anybody can do it, because I'm not special. I'm a regular girl just like you. So one of the big hurdles we have to get over to be able to do that is to eliminate self-sabotage. Self-sabotage is incredibly dangerous, and it's not enough for us to believe in our products and our artisans. It's not enough to believe in what Trades of Hope's compensation plan could provide, or even just who the company is. You have to believe in you. Because we work fairly independently, we spend a lot of our day just hearing ourselves speak, right, to ourselves. And sometimes listening to our own voice can really be a distraction for us. Let me flip to my next page. One of the things we need to do, a quote here by the author from the book, she said, we have to stop overestimating the challenge and underestimating yourself. You have to believe in you. No one else can believe in you enough to get you to do what you want to become. It has to come from within. Every skill you need to be an elite leader in Trades of Hope has already been written in your DNA. By strengthening your natural abilities and eliminating self-defeating beliefs and behaviors, you'll have all the success that you dream about. Self-doubt is the single greatest barrier that you must cross to earn the highest income or the highest impact through Trades of Hope. Self-doubt leads to sabotage. And sabotage comes in lots of guises, but they all have the same destructive effect on your life and on your business. We all came into Trades of Hope having to do the same thing, growing our business. And you're already enough. I believe that. And you hear me say that. And I'm not somebody who just shines a little sunshine up people's booty. That's my PG version, because I see a kid on the screen here today. But I believe that you all have the ability to do this. The question I have for you is, are you going to own it? Are you going to own it and run with that truth? So we need to stop overthinking what we're doing and believe that you're fully capable and that you're equipped. You have everything at your fingertips. We have to get over saying things like, well, I'm too new. I'm too, old. I'm not tech savvy enough. I'm not smart enough. I don't want to feel like I'm taking advantage of others. My kids are too young, too busy, too involved, too this, too that. My job is too demanding. Or maybe my volunteer work. We need to stop saying things like, I don't have enough experience. Girlfriends, I've never did direct sales before Trades of Hope, so that one ain't going to work here. I'm not educated enough. I'm too qualified, or maybe it's not what I want. Like we have to work through the self-sabotage, the things that we kind of trick our minds over, because that kind of thinking opens the door for failure to breeze right in. And if you're looking for excuses, you're going to find them everywhere. They're easy and they're cheap. But if you can't because the reality is you can't make excuses and make money. You can't make excuses and make an impact on our artisans' lives. The two just don't hang together. I want to remind you all who, if you were at Empower or not, going back and watching Shelley Massey's talk from the 7-on-7, this would be a great kind of reboot for folks, is to go back and, because this is getting at that, she got at that self-sabotage. We have to say no to the lies and say yes to the truth. We have to give ourselves permission to succeed. Sometimes that's not part of the cultural kind of societal bias for women. It's okay for men to succeed in business, but sometimes, women, you listen to how like men and women are talked to in the business world, a successful man versus a successful woman. Well, you have the permission to succeed. You're made for success. It takes courage to take control of your life, but I believe that you have the ability to do it. The first step is that you have got to be willing to work, willing to learn, and not hold anything back. You have to raise your expectations above victimhood. I look at the girls on our upline or parts of the Hearts team for the year that Erica became executive director and Shelley and I became director. There was a lot going on in our lives. Shelley's family had truly a tragic incident happen that was completely dismantling. I don't want to talk about the details, but there was truly destruction in their home from outsiders. Erica's son had his 11th cardiac surgery. I have had fibromyalgia for all these years. I deal with chronic pain and have been dealing with this ovarian issue. But the reality is none of us decided that was going to be the reason why we weren't going to work our business. In fact, I need my business. It actually gives me the juice, the energy to get over the things that are hard sometimes. So it's one of the reasons why I like to party regularly, because I get that little dopamine high every time I have a party. I feel pretty good after my little buzz. But it takes courage to change the path that we're on in our life. And regardless of how you arrived at the point where you are, if you're on the wrong path, it's time to find a better one. And the time, I believe, to start is now. And in giving yourself permission to succeed, I want you to know that what we're doing, when you kind of boil it down, we're not doing rocket science here. We're not curing cancer. We're having home parties, right? This isn't something especially hard. We just have to believe that we have hope. We have hope to offer to change our customers' lives, to change our hostess' lives, our teams, our future teammates, and our artisans. So we need to be careful to not get kind of caught up in those distractions, those lies that trick us. When it comes to working with a team, one of the things that I want you to think about is I want you to think about making a commitment to work with the girls who want to work. Bless and release those who don't. It's fine. As we talked earlier the other week, I was talking about the section where it says people don't stay in this for long periods of time. Sometimes it feels like a revolving door. You can't take that personally. That feeds to that self-sabotage stuff. If someone works their business, it's because they choose to work their business. I've encouraged everyone consistently, and there's still people who have deactivated and fall off my line. But, I just bless them and I release them and I wish them best. in, whatever endeavors that they're going to. And then I ask them if they'll host with me. I'm currently, everybody who's been deactivating, I've been calling to have a Christmas party with them, because I've said I want to keep your customers and your hostesses connected to Trades of Hope. So, and what if you lose your whole team? It happens. One of the directors said she just had 3 big branches quit this week. They said they're done because they've got, they've had some of their own issues. Well, Shelly's like, well, gave myself a few minutes, a little bit of time there to feel a little sad about it. And then she was like, I moved on. She's like, I'm going to sponsor more people. I'm going to sponsor 4 new branches. So you just have to shake it off. You don't let those distractions come on you. You have to move forward. Half of the people you sponsor today very well could be gone in 3 months, not working their business in 3 months. And the people who you're sponsoring now, 4 or 5 of them may be gone in a year. So entirely gone. One of the things that you want to try to not think about, or not talk about, because this is conditional, it gets back to the conditional commitments, is, well, I have X amount of people on this branch, but only X of them are working. We have to eliminate that talk. We can talk about active branches, but the reality is we are not immune to what's going on in the direct sales world. Even in Trades of Hope, as awesome as our mission is, which does make us more unique than the average company, people come in and go out of this company at a very similar rate. Now, I hope that I'll be on these kinds of calls with you all in 5, 10, 20 years. I would love that. That's the choice I'm making. But because I'm sustainable, I can only control me. And so, but I'm hoping that as I build relationships with people, and people build relationships with the company and the artisans, that people will continue to work and grow consistently. But in terms of working with your team, you have to be okay with it. It was your choice to join. It's their choice to join. It's your choice to work your business the way you want to work it. It's their choice to work the business the way they. And not everybody does everything the way I would like them to, but I don't give everybody my opinion. Like I have to, what I try to do, be consistent about, is playing to the positives, highlighting the things that I do think is good and worthwhile and worthy of our time. So the next thing, I've got a lot here we're going through. The next thing is I want to talk about what do you think is our most precious resource? What is the most precious resource? Write it in. Whoops. Whoa, boy. Did I lose you guys? Sorry, my screen. Oh, Lordy. There we go. My mouse is getting sticky on me. Now I can't see y'all. There we go. I got to open up the chat, because I hadn't done that yet. Okay. I can post that Shelly Massey talk to the page. Yes. In the sides here, I want you to write down what you think is the most precious resource that we have in our lives. The first person to get it right wins a prize for me. Definitely Jesus. Not the answer I was looking for, though. Relationships. Cindy got it. Time. Time is our most precious resource in direct sales. So Cindy is getting a $5 Starbucks gift card coming your way. So if you feel like you're drowning in the quagmire of minutia, it's time to rethink the priorities in your life and in your business. And really the two kind of play off each other. Time is the only thing everybody has equal amounts of. It doesn't matter who you are. The President of the United States and I all have the same amount of time. The most busiest people in the world and the people, my mother-in-law who's retired, like we all have the same amount of time. And we're all juggling that time. what we need to do is we have to remember we are the only ones in control of that time. Mark Twain talks about eating your frog first. So he says that the quote goes something to the effect of, if you eat a live frog first thing in the morning, nothing worse is going to happen in your day. So that frog is, we need to deal with those things that we would want to put off. The frog is that phone call, the follow-up calls that you feel insecure about, or whatever that task is. If we don't deal with the frog sits here on our shoulder all day, chirping, distracting, annoying, making us feel bad about ourselves because we're not doing what we're supposed to do. Eat the frog, girls. Get it over with. Bite the bullet, get it done, and move on. Because then you'll be freed up to have more of your day. One of the things a lot of directors in Trades of Hope talks about is doing the Sunday night prep. And different people do it in different ways, but it's Sunday nights. This isn't something that should take up your whole evening. I'm talking 10 or 15 minutes that you get your day timer out. You get your day timer out, or for me, I use kind of both. I use the calendar on my phone and my day timer. And you need to make a list of what we call IPAs, your income producing activities, your top 6. And go ahead and look at this week ahead. One of the things that Erin talks about is that she has her list of everybody she needs to call, and she writes them in on Sundays on the days she's going to call them that week. Tuesday, these 2 or 3 people. Thursday, these 2 or 3 people, and just gets it done. And then highlight the most productive tasks and tackle those first. It's kind of like my friend Herb used to talk about a jar. If you had a whole bunch of sand and a whole bunch of rocks, you don't put the sand, seems like you might put that in there, but you're not going to be able to fit all of your big rocks in once the sand's in. But if you put your big rocks in first, then all that sand, the little stuff that doesn't matter as much, that's going to come all around that and be able to fill in the space. So get your big rocks in there first. Don't be a hoarder or a stacker. Deal with it, delegate it, discard it. Just bite the bullet on it. Go straight to the recycling bin with those papers that come in or whatever. Just stop obsessively checking Facebook. Stop obsessively checking your emails. I have a routine. I check my Trades of Hope email once in the morning, maybe once at night. But and like even all the home team updates, people are like, well, what if I miss something? I'm like, they send you an email about it, because when you get on that Facebook page, the main CE page, it's easy to get lost. I go to, even on my cell phone, I go to my groups and I look at which of my groups has numbers on it of notifications. And I decide if this do I know what I've last posted there, or is there something in this group that I need to know about? And is today the time to do it? It may not be. Maybe it's later today, or maybe it's tomorrow. And it's okay if they're sitting there. In terms of communication with people, everyone who joins the team, I say, I typically will get back to you within 24 hours. It's in my welcome email. You're giving yourself permission to have margin, and that's important. So one of the things I try to think about is sending a PM or a text versus making a phone call. I try to make phone calls when I think this is a phone call worthy topic. And then the other things I use, like those personal messages, the voice message that feels more personal for people, or I'll, figure out what the mode is that's great for them and communicate that way. But 5 to 10 minutes where you're making your week and you're planning it. Your Sunday night prep. And that way, when you enter into the week, you're ready to go. There's no guessing. And you've got those big rocks in. And one of the things I would encourage you to do is try to figure out, it depends on where you're at, what your goal is, but to try to party once a week, because again, it's going to keep you connected to the heart of what you're doing. It is going to keep you connected to why it is you decided to be CE, because telling those stories and talking about these life-changing products is going to keep you energized. There's things around your house that you might want to think about, like to simplify things. I, I decided with part of my Trades of Hope income to hire a cleaning lady. Russ gets grumpy when he cleans. Not really real thrilled about it myself. I've done it my whole life. It's been no big loss. And I'm giving somebody else a job. And my friend Carla has been really just a total blessing on us. When you go to prepare dinner tonight, maybe you prepare 2 dinners, and then you can have some leftovers all week too. That's what we often do on the weekends. We make 1 or 2 big meals, and then we eat off those for 4 or 5 days. Record your favorite TV programs, fast food through the commercials. That's just wasted time. Get your kids involved with putting your stickers on your catalogs, or, prepping your gear. Like, that's just a great activity. Russ sits and watches shows and puts my stickers on my mini books and my catalogs all the time. So, because this really is a family thing. At the beginning of the year, on New Year's Day, put all the birthdays in your whole calendar. Get it just one and done. Birthdays, anniversaries, anything special. So even be thinking about that. Maybe you set your alarm clock 15 minutes earlier. Now, different people, they have different parts of the days that work with them. I have fantasies of being a morning person. It's not part of my DNA, although I'm working on it. Went to bed at 10:30 last night. Was feeling proud of myself. But for me, people are always like, oh, I see you up late doing stuff. I said, that's the hour, 2 hours that nobody bugs me. And not that you're bugging me, but Russ isn't talking to me about anything. I don't have anybody calling me. Hospice isn't asking me for anything. I am a night owl. That's where my energy lies. So I get a lot done in that time for my business, for my day, for, whatever it is that I'm working on, church, whatever. So while I am striving to be somebody who could wake up at 5:30 and not feel like I'm going to vomit, right now that's not quite where I'm at. So I'm working to shift that time, and make priority for yourself in that. Maybe it's getting up in the morning and journaling and reading something, spending some time to invest in yourself. Maybe it's you're engaging your spirituality. Maybe you're praying or meditating, whatever it is. But the people who are in the top 1% of the direct sales world, they are, when they have set that time aside and they are doing income generating activity when they're working out those big rocks during their weeks, their IPAs. The next thing I want to talk about is procrastination. Don't do it. I know we all have that, natural thing. I'm a natural procrastinator. I used to say in art school, my creativity really excels when I have a deadline. No, I just lived with a lot of anxiety inside me. I was all hopped up on caffeine. My older, more wise self will be honest. I bet I could have come into some really great stuff. In grad school, it was really fun to be able to say, I got a paper done a week ahead. That was bizarre for me, but I think it's part of the maturation process. But don't treat your business like your laundry. Don't let it pile up. Don't let it get crazy and then feel like a burden. That's when it gets to be a burden. So when you get those IPAs in there, you're going to feel better about yourself. You're going to feel better about what you're doing. Stop using language like, well, I'll do it tomorrow or next week, or I'll have more time when the holidays are over, or I'll just wait for the new catalog and then I'm going to get serious, or I'm going to start when the kids are back to school. Once they get back to school. I mean, that whole start of the school year thing, people get themselves up in a tizzy, where if you had this rhythms, then the kids going back to school, is not going to freak out the whole system and make you feel like you have to put it on pause. Or maybe I'll stop when, maybe I'll get to it. I'll start when it stops snowing, stops raining, stops being hot, stops being cold. We just use these excuses. The reality is the best time to do it is now. There's a quote that says the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time, today. I like that one. Life is not a dress rehearsal. And every day you let it slip by, it's wasted. The smallest step you take today will count more than 1,000 giant strides you intend to take tomorrow. Intentions aren't going to get you where you want to be, girls. You have to pick up the phone when you feel like it, and even more so when you don't feel like it. You have to find every day you have to find some time to grow your business, because you know there's never a perfect time. That is a myth. What will set you apart from the pack is knowing your strengths and knowing your shortcomings while refusing to let self-doubt steal your dreams. So you get to choose to be your worst enemy, or you get to choose to be your best friend. And I hope you choose the latter. So we've been focusing here today on building belief, and it really comes from having some new habits. And I'm going to be posting something onto the group page about what a place for you to share what new commitments are you going to embrace that's going to help you grow and thrive, and what conditions are you going to release? What are you going to let go of and stop carrying them around like that frog on your shoulder? You are the only one who can commit yourself to the mission that you're a part of with Trades of Hope, and you're the only one who can see that succeed. I can't make it succeed for you. Your sponsor can't make it succeed for you. You are committing to yourself and the mission when you work your goal, and to remember you're working that in partnership with our artisans. They're showing up every day at those artisan co-ops to make all that beautiful jewelry. So when you think about it and you stand up in the morning and you go to do those IPAs, you've got 13,000 people standing behind you, cheering you on to be successful. But even with them there, you have to remember it's only you who's going to make that happen. I would love to make you all wildly successful. And I'm going to do everything in my ability to encourage you. But ultimately, you have to believe in yourself that you are more than capable of changing the world through your Trades of Hope business. So thanks for your time today. I hope this was helpful. I'll be posting Shelly's recording, and I'll be posting this video, and it'll be on that video in the comments below, that you can talk about what new commitments to yourself and your business you're going to take on, and what conditions you're going to let go of. Okay? Thanks so much, girls.